Is it just me, or does anyone else ever feel like there are too many things that you want to do and too many things that you're passionate about, and you just can't seem to like narrow your focus and your energy down to one thing, and that just results in you feeling like really scatterbrained and unsure of what to do next? Well, hopefully today we can start tackling that together and be able to finish this year a bit more focus and clarity. Welcome back to another monthly reset routine. We are getting our life, mind, space, all of those good things organized and reset for November. I am very excited about it. Today we are going to be tackling obviously a home reset with some cleaning, some restocking, some organizing. We're going to be doing life admin, goal setting, budget, planning, and I also want to talk through a bit of a challenge that I have set for myself for the last 75 days of the year. I've taken 75 hard and 75 soft, and I've kind of made it my own, and maybe you guys want to join in with me, so stay tuned for that. And obviously we will have our usual monthly book reviews and TBR for December, so if that is something you're keen to see, then grab yourself a cuppa and let's get into the video.
You had me at a low, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else, I got you, and you got me too. You can ride all the blue. I wanna do what you want to. We can leave it.
We are at my favorite destination other than the bookshop. It is Bunnings, and I think that November might actually be the month when some real gardening and landscaping is going to happen in our yard. I want flowers to bloom. I want to start my veggie patch, all of the things, and I'm going to start things off today by hopefully getting myself some hydrangeas and pots. We'll see how we go. I'm hoping that in a couple of weeks I can come back and get some of my raised garden beds. I think these are the ones that I'm looking at. And yes, our little Bunnings boy is ready for his sausage sandwich. Now, while I did start this in October 18th to be precise, this is something that's definitely going to be a big focus for me in November and December, and that is my 75 soft and slow challenge. Now, you've probably heard of 75 hard, in which there are, I guess, daily rules or habits that you need to meet for those 75 days. And it is, as the title would suggest, hard. I don't know necessarily if there's like a specific performer for a 75 soft, but what I wanted to do was kind of take that idea and manipulate it and apply it to my own life in a way that felt slow, soft, and achievable. So you've pre-seen a lot of content, particularly for the final 90 days of 2025 around the great lock-in. This is a gentle lock-in of sorts. So I've set myself, I think it is 7 habits that are very like easy, gentle, and achievable that I want to do every day to be able to end the year on a positive note, but also come out of it like a healthier person, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. So my daily habits for the last 75 days of the year are: number 1, exercise every day for 10 to 15 minutes, just something gentle and achievable. I've been doing a lot of yoga, but mostly like Pilates or bodyweight exercises via YouTube videos. And then my second one kind of leads into that, and that is daily 5-minute stretching. I get to the end of the day and I'm kind of like a little bit robotic, and I definitely wake up that way as well. And I know that stretching is so good for you in terms of your overall flexibility, but also longevity. Number 3 is daily phone-free dog walk. Now, this is something that I did mention in my top slow living habits, and it's something that I do most days, but it is something that I want to do consistently every day, just for like low stimulation and anxiety relief and just peace and appreciation of the natural environment. Number 4 is going to be hard for me, and that is no caffeine. I have been like slowly weaning myself off it and replacing like 1 caffeinated beverage each day for a decaf. And I'm kind of like mostly at the point where I am 100% decaf, but we still got a little bit to go. So I think this is going to be the final push to get me in that decaf frame of mind. Do I want this to be a long-term thing? I don't know. I love a good coffee, but I just think we need to reset things, and this will be good for me. And then sort of similar to that is 1 liter of water minimum daily. And I really struggle with this, I'll be honest. I've got a glass of water here, and it's the first one that I'm consuming so far today at 11:30. So we just need to be better at hydrating. Daily habit number 3 is 30 minutes of reading per day. I do pretty much read every day, but I just want to make it like a strategic and specific time frame. I originally have on there read 1 chapter a day, but that's kind of easy for me because I do that already. So I wanted to make it something time specific, and I just felt like an hour, even though I do potentially do that some days, is just a little bit too lofty, and 30 minutes is going to be achievable. And then my final habit, number 7, is a daily quiet time, sort of creative activity hour moment, if you will. Now, I do think that it can be anything from creative writing to journaling to painting or whatever, but one thing that I do really want to make more of a daily habit is my Bible app. On there, it has like a daily scripture, devotion, prayer time, and I just think that that is going to be so transformative for me spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And it's something that I do every now and then, but it's not something that I do consistently. Hunter's gone with mum and dad for a couple of hours, and I'm all set up to get into some cleaning, which is something that I often don't have a dedicated chunk of time to do. So today we are taking full advantage of the time that I actually have and getting some things done. actually not even sure if I've done my little budget overview for the last couple of months. So I went in and did my October one, but I also went back and did September and August as well. And for each category, I just highlighted which was the most expensive. And for August, it was groceries, which was $1,200. I also had my Epidemic Sound come out in August. I had some travel expenses as well and some presents to buy. And then September was a very big month for me because I had like birthday and Father's Day presents. Groceries was actually really good, but I think that was because like one weekend I wasn't here to buy some, so I gave that money to Dave to buy them. Utility was pretty big. Food and takeaway was pretty big from traveling. And our largest one that month was our home and contents insurance, which was just over $2,000. So definitely one that I need to tuck away money for every year. And then for October, I also went and I did these arrows to suggest whether it was less than or more than the months before. So a lot of them were less than, which was great. Home was more than because we've gone and done some Bunnings trips to get a heap of things for the backyard. And entertainment was more than because we also had a trip in here as well. And then I haven't put groceries on the list yet because I know that I'm going to have to pick some more up in between now and then when I upload this video. So it will probably be looking like around the 800-900 mark, which is pretty good, I would say. It is my final and favorite segment to any reset routine. We're talking about books. October was not necessarily a great reading month for me, either in terms of content or the amount of books that I was able to get through. So the first one that I finished was Elodie's Library of Second Chances by Rebecca Raisin. I just picked this up from the library. This is the second book of hers that I've read. The first one I have here, and it is Flora's Traveling Christmas Shop, and they follow like a very similar sort of theme or trope, if you will. We've got Elodie coming from a very wealthy and well-known family in the UK. They run a publishing house and they're in television and all of these different things, and she's kind of the face of that and feels a lot of like pressure from her family to step up and take over the reins of the company. That is not something that she wants to do. In fact, she has a background in librarianship and she wants to live a quiet, more anonymous life and bring a lot of philanthropy into the family business, which is frequently shut down. So when the opportunity comes along to save a library in a small town that's essentially about to shut down, Elodie jumps at the chance. She doesn't want to be known for like her family's name or background, so she just goes in under sort of a pseudonym of sorts and tries to put in all of these different initiatives to bring in money and new members to the library. It is a very wholesome and quaint read. I love the like small town kind of Cotswolds type theme to it, and there really is like that local charm that really comes through. I love that it is super wholesome. There's a romance angle and it's just very PG rated, which is a nice change in comparison to the incredibly spicy books that I've read recently. But it is like a lot more slower paced, and it's a lot more about the characters and kind of, you know, having that relationship, you know, and building friendships and personal growth kind of thing. So if you're after something that is like not super action packed and, you know, something happening around each corner and each chapter, then this could be the book for you. I'm like very much in my fantasy thriller, like a lot of like hectic action realm at the moment. So to be able to change gears between this and this feels very abrupt for me. So because of that, I'm probably going to rate it as like maybe a 3.5. There are moments in it, particularly towards the end, where it is like very sappy and cliche, but I'd say overall it was like a really sweet and lovely read. Then obviously the next one I finished off was A Court of Wings and Ruin. I did start this in September at the tail end. And she is a chunker, so it did take me a good while, especially considering I've got a number of books on the go at any one time. So where the second book left off is that Tamlin has just come to reclaim, if you will, Feyre as his bride, as his possession, and take her back to the Spring Court. And she has presented the illusion that she's come out of some sort of spell that Rysand put her under and is a willing participant in Tamlin's schemes. But really, she is going undercover at the Spring Court as a double agent to see like what is going on there, what sort of alliances that they have built with Highburn, and to basically try and bring that whole court undone. But really, that was only the first part of the book. The major chunk of the book is building intelligence and skills and like learning fighting and building alliances between the different courts in preparation for a major battle between Perinthian and Highburn. So I feel like there is a lot happening and there's a lot of like tension and like building of this energy towards this battle. But because of that, it's like very drawn out. So that's the only thing that I would say as a negative. And something that like I loved about the second book is there was very much a slow burn romance between Feyre and Rysand, and I love them as a couple. I like am on that team and was almost the moment that Rysand came into the first book. So that was like super intriguing and just like something you were enmeshed in the second book. And now that they're together, they're married, she's High Lady of the Night Court, it doesn't have that same like tension or appeal. There is kind of similar things going on with other characters which keeps you intrigued, but definitely their love story has somewhat taken a bit of a back seat in this book, and that was something that I really loved in the second book. So I feel like because of all of these things, it definitely was a page turner. It had me wanting to know what was going to happen next. I'm probably going to rate it as a 4.5. So the second one for me was a 5-star. The first one was also a 4.5, and I think I would put this as a 4.5 as well. And I'm definitely looking forward to reading number 3, especially considering it is maybe half or even a third of the size. The only book that I pulled out of the TBR jar for October was The Art of Home, which was a little bit cheating in the sense that it is mostly images with some writing throughout. And I was skeptical about how much I was going to get out of this. I feel like it definitely gave me a lot of inspiration in terms of redecorating or styling some areas of my home, but I feel like this is definitely more geared towards people who like are very much into design, styling, architecture, all of these things. And if you are building a house and you haven't quite figured out all of those fine details, I feel like then it would be helpful for you. Or if you've got the budget in order to do some sort of remodel, because it's really more about like the architecture and like the individual like design choices as opposed to specific styling type things. Like that comes in just a little bit, but is definitely not the focus. So I feel like for me, it's something that I'll probably just go back to and have a little flick through. Obviously, there was a lot of different aesthetics within this, and not a lot of them particularly aligned with the type of vibe that I've got going on here. So as a result, I couldn't get heaps out of it. But nevertheless, it is an absolutely gorgeous book and something that I love having out on display as a styling item in itself. I'm not actually sure that I can give this a rating because it's not necessarily a book, and I feel like it is very niche to those who like this kind of concept or people who just want to have it as I do, a decor piece. Now I've got 2 more books that as of this moment of recording this, which is on the Thursday prior to the start of the month, so I've still got 2 days left of this month before we head into November. I have not yet finished these books, but this one should be finished by the 3rd of November, I'm estimating, based on how many chapters I have left and my usual daily reading. And I'm not sure about this one. This one, Small Town Big Magic, I picked up probably about halfway through the month. I literally just looked at the cover, looked at the name, and I thought, that is my vibe. Small town, love a cute, aesthetic, small town type vibe, especially as a setting in a novel. Big Magic, I'm very much getting into my fantasy element at the moment. The premise of this is you've got Emerson, and she is a bookstore owner, love that, in a small town named St. Cripian. It is in the Midwest region of the US. And she's also on like some sort of small town like business committee and is very much instrumental in bringing awareness to the town and highlighting businesses and festivals and festivities in the town. So she has definitely that love for where she lives, which at the start of the book I found was communicated in like a very cheesy way, and so I was not optimistic that I was going to like it, but I am a little bit over halfway at this point, maybe 2/3 of the way through, and I am really enjoying it. It's definitely more low fantasy as opposed to the Court of Thorns and Roses series, which is very much steeped in like world building, lore, backstory and all of that, and that exists in this, but just not to that level. So what happens initially is that she's got some sort of rivalry going on with different people in the town, and one in particular, Skip, who is also the mayor, lures her, I guess, to the cemetery where there is a major attack on her life, and as a result of that attack and her fending it off and, you know, having help from her friends in fending it off, it is uncovered that she has magical powers and is a witch. But not only that, that the whole town, St. Cripian, is a haven for witches and all of her friends are witches. She didn't realize any of this because she had her mind wiped and her memories wiped. So there's kind of a couple of layers happening in here of like her uncovering her memories and parts of her identity and coming to terms with the fact that she's a witch, but also now the fact that there is some sort of evil force and like attempts on her life happening that they're having to, I guess, fight against and uncover ways that they can undo the things that are happening, not only towards her, but as a result in the town as well. So I feel like that there are stakes involved. There are lots of interesting characters. There is a sort of slow burn, if you will, budding romance, which I'm quite interested in. And I would say it has me hooked. I don't know that I can necessarily give it a rating considering I've still got a good chunk left to go and I only picked it up halfway through the month. But it is feeling like a 4. I'm definitely more into it than I was Elodie's Library of Second Chances. So I have to rate it higher than that, but would not rate it as highly as A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is my 4.5. So I feel like 4 is like a nice middle ground for that. And then the second one that I've still got left to go is Anne of Green Gables. And this is one of the ones that I had on my spring bucket list. And I'd never read it before. And I feel like it is a classic. And there are a lot of things I didn't realize about this. For instance, that Anne was an orphan and was mistakenly picked up by a friend and delivered to Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert, who asked for a boy and got a girl. They initially were very unhappy about that, which I found harrowing, I guess. I guess from a social perspective, but also from Anne's perspective and being able to empathize and sympathize with her. It was really hard knowing that she wasn't wanted at the family that had just adopted her. So she has come to Green Gables from an orphanage, and she has been bounced around from home to home throughout her entire life. So being able to be rooted in one place is an absolute dream for her, and she's very much a dreamer. Like, she is a chatter. She has this wild imagination. She's constantly like conjuring up like fictional stories and universes and fairies and kings and queens and romances in her mind. And so Green Gables, this absolutely picturesque place, is just an absolute dream for her. And try as she might and to do the right thing all the time, she's constantly finding herself in trouble or embroiled in some sort of scheme or accidental mishap. So it is a really sweet book. This was in the children's section. I'd probably say it would be better for young adults, maybe teens, as opposed to where it was placed, which is pre-teens. I feel like maybe that's not necessarily the right audience, but it is a very sweet and very wholesome book. Not necessarily a page turner, if you will, but just something lovely, beautiful, relaxing, some great imagery in there, great characterization. And you definitely develop this beautiful bond with Anne and all the other little people in the story as well. So I'm probably going to rate this maybe similarly as a 4 out of 5. Now, I did a thing, and it wasn't a wise thing to do, but sometimes when I go to the library, I just find so many gems, as I did on this particular day, and I just cannot pass them up. So these are going to be my November reads, but I think we'll also push some of them into December. But I'll tell you all the ones that I have recruited. This one I have just started, Women Living Deliciously by Florence Given. I have her Women Don't Own You Pretty, and I really enjoy that. So what it says on the back is, fall in love with your life. This book will unpack the many barriers women face when trying to access joy. For too long, women have internalized the belief that our bodies are things to be looked at instead of lived in. That's embarrassing to fully express ourselves, that we cannot trust the parts of ourselves that are full of desire. Internationally best-selling author Florence Given wants to restore your lust for life and your sense of urgency, giving you the courage and permission to inch closer to the wildly expansive life that you fully deserve. Not in the future, not when you're perfect, not when you're prettier, but now. And I feel like that has a really beautiful message, but even though I'm only a smidge through, I do know that the holistic tone and like not all of the things that she say I am going to 100% resonate with, and I think that that is perfectly fine. It's always good to just expose yourself to different voices and perspectives. And then these two were also on my spring bucket list. I picked them up last month. I had all these intentions that I was going to read them in October, and I just did not get around to it. So they're definitely going to be November ones while we are still in the spring season. We've got Escape to Honeysuckle Hall, also by Rebecca Raisin. It says, a fresh start brings a second chance at love. When Orly's boyfriend and business partner dumps her for a celebrity fling, she finds solace in tacos, tequila, and tears. One terrible hangover later, she's packed her bags and swapped London for the overgrown grounds of Honeysuckle Hall. After years spent catering to others' whims, Orly is going after what she wants, a simpler life surrounded by nature. Running countryside retreats for burnt-out city dwellers means she has the social life she's been dreaming of, and gorgeous carpenter Leo is always around when she needs something fixed. As Orly's new life blossoms, so does her friendship with Leo. She wonders if she finally found somewhere to put down roots, until she discovers a series of anonymous notes warning her off. Was she wrong to trust Leo, or is someone else trying to sabotage her future? And it is very much giving Elodie's Library of Second Chances. Some city dweller, career-driven person, burnt out from that lifestyle, moving to a very cute village and developing a romance with a cute villager. But hopefully I will like this one even more. And then we've got Emily Wilde's number 3, Compendium of Lost Tales by Heather Fawcett. I did like both number 1 and 2 of this series, so I am pretty optimistic that I'm going to enjoy this one. It says, Emily Wilde has spent her life studying fairies. A renowned dryadologist, she has documented hundreds of species of folk in her Encyclopedia of Fairies. Now she's about to embark on her most dangerous academic project yet, studying the inner workings of a fairy realm as its queen, along with her former academic rival, now fiance, the dashing and mercurial Wendell Bamberley. Emily is immediately thrust into the deadly intrigues of fairy as the two of them seize the throne of Wendell's long-lost kingdom. Yet there is little time to settle in. Wendell's murderous stepmother has placed a deadly curse upon the land before vanishing without a trace. It will take all of Wendell's magic and Emily's knowledge of stories to unravel the mystery before they lose everything they hold dear. Very cool. And I'm not going to read all of the blurbs of these ones, but I had this on my wish list, Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. So I feel like I'm going to probably save this one as my December read. So stay tuned for that. And then I'm not sure which of these will end up making their way into November also, but we've got The Mountain Is You, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery. We've got Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear. I have read this once before, and I feel like, particularly since I'm doing like a lot of writing at the moment and I'm really struggling with the direction of my YouTube channel and things like that, that this might be really helpful for me. The Courage to Be Disliked, the Japanese phenomenon that shows you how to free yourself, change your life, and achieve real happiness. Then we've got Phosphorescence on Awe, Wonder, and Things That Sustain You When the World Goes Dark, and by the same author, Julia Biard, Bright Shining, How Grace Changes Everything. So I think what I'll end up doing is, because I used to have so much pressure of I need to get these back within the 28-day borrowing time, but what I've realized is a lot of people aren't reserving the books and I can go and renew them. So if I need a little bit of extra time, rather than either A, sacrificing it and just did not finish, or B, like hurrying it along at such a pace where I don't really get to enjoy the book, I've been going in and renewing a lot of things. So I will be just renewing all of this big selection here and any of these ones here if need be, so that I can take the time to enjoy my books and decide what I feel like reading at any given moment. But hopefully that gave you some reading inspiration as we round out the last 2 months of the year. Thank you so much for being here for my November reset routine. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe down below. I upload new ones every single week. With that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week and I'll see you all in the next video. Now, log off your device and go and enjoy your day. Bye friends.